Tracking and recording our medication use, managing our dosage, and understanding its interactions with other drugs are all part of using medications safely and responsibly. But just as important is how we handle, store, and dispose of medications. That's because there's no such thing as a harmless drug. Whether we're using over-the-counter preparations or controlled prescriptions such as opioids, we need to be careful and responsible.
We had a new air conditioning system put in last week, and there had to be workers in every room of the house. And I put all my prescription medications in a drawer, which I don't know why, I just didn't feel comfortable with them being out with strangers in the house.
I think that there is definitely some heightened concern with regards to diversion, particularly with regards to pain medications. And patients need to view themselves as partners in addressing these concerns, insofar as keeping your medications in a safe place, not openly sharing these with family or friends. These are all very important issues.
Keeping medications safe doesn't require a lot of time and effort. In reality, it's not that different from the simple precautions we take almost automatically with many common household products. For example, we store home cleaning chemicals out of reach of children and pets. We keep vitamins in cool, dark places to preserve their potency. And we use extra care when we dispose of certain types of waste. With pain medications, common sense and a few basic rules are all it takes to keep medications safe. First, we should know at all times where our medication is. Is it properly stored and labeled? Is it secure from children, pets, and visitors? Are all doses accounted for? Remember, even common medications such as aspirin and acetaminophen can be harmful to pets or infants. A drop pill or a medication bottle left out in the open can become a hazard.
Many people find it helpful to only carry the number of pills that you'll need in a given time period. That way, you can keep the remainder of the pills secure at home so that they're not accessible to other people.
The medications that I take to make sure they're safe and away from small children and animals, and just keeping them straight for myself. I keep the actual bottles that I get from the doctors and all the backup information all way up high.
Second, we need to understand that medications can degrade and lose their effectiveness when exposed to heat, light, or moisture. Surprisingly, that means that bathroom cabinets can be the worst place to store medication. The bedroom dresser, a high kitchen cupboard, or a pantry shelf often provide a much more desirable environment for storage.
The medicine cabinet, surprisingly, is probably the worst place in the house to keep your medications. Part of that is because, number one, the bathroom tends to be a very humid place, and unfortunately, moisture, humidity can cause many drugs to break down and not work as well as if they were kept in a cool, dry place. One of the best places to keep your medications is in a kitchen cabinet that's away from the reach of children. The kitchen is typically a dry, cool area, so the drug would be safe there. And plus, somebody who might be looking for a drug, it's going to be safe there. That might not be the first place that a person looks for a medication.
Third, we need to recognize that pain medications are a prime target for abuse and theft. Whenever possible, we want to store them in places that aren't easily accessible to visitors or strangers. We should also avoid storing them in obvious locations, such as the bathroom cabinet, where thieves are likely to look first. Those rules apply not just to our medications, but to delivery devices, such as hypodermic needles, droppers, measuring cups, and topical applicators.
I think that keeping a medication in a locked cabinet or in a lockbox is a good idea if a patient is concerned of the safety of their medication and if somebody may steal it or somebody may find it. I think it depends on the opinion of the patient and what would make them feel safest. I think that diversion is always going to be an issue that we're concerned about, both from the pharmacist perspective and from the patient perspective. I think the most important thing that patients can do to keep their medication safe is to not advertise that they're using particular drugs.
I try to keep my medications all in one place, in the kitchen. They're hidden. And I also have to be concerned about my grandchildren, little children coming around, and when they're staying with me overnight or something, I even put those medications up on even a higher shelf and hide them, so I would never want them to get into them. When I've been on narcotics in the past, that's always been a concern too, because one never knows, who's in the house, what they'll be doing, what they'll be looking for. So I really am very careful where I do keep the medicines for that very reason.